You make good money, maybe even really good money. On paper, your household income looks solid, better than average, better than most. And yet, every month feels tight. You're not saving what you expected. Unexpected expenses hit harder than they should. And deep down, there's a quiet question you don't like asking. Why does this still feel so hard? If you've ever looked at your income and thought, we make too much money to feel this broke, this video is for you. Because the problem isn't that you're bad with money, and it's not that you're lazy. The problem is that the system you're living in was never designed to make you feel wealthy. Let's talk about why. Most people grow up believing a simple formula. Go to school, get a good job, earn more money, and life gets easier. And for a long time, that formula actually worked. So when people follow all the rules and still feel financially stressed, they assume something must be wrong with them. They think, I should budget better. I should stop spending so much. I need another raise. I need a side hustle. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Millions of households earning good money are struggling at the exact same time. Not because they're all irresponsible, but because they're all trapped inside the same financial structure. Let's slow down and define something important. What does good money actually mean today? In the U.S., a household income of $80,000, $100,000, even $120,000 sounds impressive. And compared to national averages, it is. But income alone doesn't tell the full story, because income doesn't measure cost of living, fixed expenses, financial risk, or margin for error. You can earn six figures and still have very little control over your life. If most of your income is already spoken for before the month even begins, you're not wealthy. You're exposed. Here's where things really change. Decades ago, most families survived on one income. That second income wasn't required. It was a safety net. If something went wrong, someone could step in. Today, two incomes are no longer optional. They're the baseline. Housing, healthcare, childcare, education, transportation. All of them quietly adjusted upward to assume two full-time paychecks, which means the backup plan is already being used. There's no margin, no cushion, no flexibility. So when people say, we're doing everything right, but still struggling, they're not imagining it. They're describing the math. Now let's talk about the part no one likes to calculate, the hidden costs. Let's say one partner earns an extra $50,000 a year. Sounds amazing, but that money doesn't arrive untouched. First, taxes. That second income is often taxed at a higher marginal rate, so $50,000 quickly becomes closer to $35,000. Then comes childcare, daycare, after-school programs, babysitting, easily $12,000 to $18,000 a year. Now we're already down to around $17,000. Next is commuting, gas, insurance, maintenance, parking, another $4,000 to $6,000. And finally, the most invisible cost of all, exhaustion. When both adults are working full-time, time disappears. Cooking becomes takeout. Cleaning becomes a service. Convenience replaces intention. Another $6,000 to $8,000. So what's left? From $50,000, maybe $8,000, that's not financial freedom. That's survival with better branding. Here's the part that messes with people psychologically. From the outside, it looks like you're doing great. Nice job, decent car, comfortable home, so you feel guilty for struggling. You don't talk about it. You assume everyone else has it figured out. But most people are quietly running the same race, working harder just to stay in place. This isn't a personal failure, it's a systemic pressure. And once you see that, you stop blaming yourself and start asking better questions. Here's the trap. When earning more doesn't solve the problem, the instinct is to earn even more. But higher income often unlocks higher housing costs, higher expectations, higher lifestyle maintenance. Not because people are reckless, but because the system nudges them there. Lifestyle creep isn't a character flaw. It's a predictable outcome of earning more in an environment where every upgrade is normalized. So people work more, stress more, and still feel behind. So how do you actually escape? Not by getting rich overnight, not by finding the perfect stock, not by working yourself into exhaustion. You escape by changing the structure, because most financial stress doesn't come from income. It comes from fragility. Families who feel financially stable, truly stable, usually share one simple thing in common. They can survive on one income, and that idea often gets misunderstood. This doesn't mean they only earn one income. It doesn't mean someone quits their job tomorrow. And it definitely doesn't mean lowering your ambition. It means something much more important. It means their fixed costs, housing, utilities, insurance, food, basic life expenses, do not require both paychecks to exist. One income can keep the lights on. One income can keep the roof overhead. One income can keep life running. That single change alters everything, because the moment your household stops depending on both incomes just to survive, the second income becomes optional again. And optional income is powerful income. Optional income doesn't come with panic. It doesn't come with desperation. It doesn't come with fear. It comes with choice. When income is optional, it can be directed intentionally instead of reactively. It can go toward investments, the kind that compound quietly over time. It can go toward debt elimination, freeing future income instead of borrowing from it. It can go toward savings, not as a temporary buffer, but as real margin. Or it can go toward freedom, time, flexibility, and the ability to say no. That's what real security looks like. Not a bigger paycheck, not a flashier lifestyle, but margin. Margin is the difference between stress and calm, between reacting and choosing, between feeling trapped and feeling in control. When your life is built on margin, unexpected expenses stop feeling like emergencies. A job loss becomes a problem, not a crisis. A change becomes possible, not terrifying. That's why escaping the trap isn't about earning more. It's about needing less to survive and choosing more with what remains. That's where real security comes from. If you make good money but still feel broke, you're not alone, and you're not broken. The system changed, and most people never noticed. But once you see the map, you can choose a different path. If this video helped you understand why things feel harder than they should, hit the like button. Subscribe to Nate's Money Map for weekly animated guides that explain money clearly, without hype or false promises. And tell me in the comments, what part of your budget feels like it's quietly draining you the most? I'll see you on the next map.